pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray. Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day that you've allowed us to live. Grateful for your watching care over us. Thank you, Lord, for the place where we live. Thank you for the men and women who work to make it a good place to live, keep it a good place to live. Lord, I pray that watch over, protect them as they do their job. Lord, I ask that you bless in this meeting. Help us, Lord, to make wise decisions for this town. For we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, I'm going to ask Jay if he would to give us roll call.
Yes, sir. Town of Vidalia Board of Aldermen roll call for a regular meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen dated April 13th, 2021. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderwoman Denby.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Here.
Alderman Probst.
Here. Alderman
Smith.
Here.
Mayor, let the record show a quorum of the boards present and accounted for.
Okay, our first order of business is to have your minutes in front of you. Any questions on them? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meeting.
I so move that we approve the previous.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Denby, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, now, this is the time we have an agenda, and this is where we kind of give the public a chance to make any comment on our agenda items. The agendas are there on our table when you walk in. Has anybody got any questions or public comment on any agenda items?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can everybody hear me? Maybe one of you guys could answer this question, and it pertains to number 9. When was the last time an alderman got a raise? Thank you.
Okay. It's probably,
I think John is the senior alderman here.
well, it's probably, I think,
I don't know.
I can't tell you the exact time, but I think it was probably in 2014 or 15 maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, who spoke?
Pardon? That's Miss Linda Bell. Miss Linda Bell.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't recognize you with the mask on.
Linda Bell.
Good evening. I'm Cassandra Lynch, and I'm going to piggyback on that number 9, the Board of Aldermen and their raises. Have we done any comparison of our raises, our salaries with our aldermen and surrounding area? That's my first question. And my second question would be, what determines when you're looking to giving the aldermen an adjustment in their salary?
Okay.
You know, when
That's
you
fair.
want positive results from people, if you give them fair salaries, that's what you're gonna get. If you don't pay anything, you don't get anything.
As far as we have the information of what other municipalities, Cassandra, that they pay aldermen. You know, is to compare Vidalia to other towns is like a lot of people try to compare it apples to apples. It's hard to do that, especially towns our size. The latest census numbers, to me, I don't think properly represent where we are because the consensus was done during COVID times, and under normal times when a census is done, the state actually has workers go door to door and get those people who weren't counted. And with COVID, they didn't do that this time. So I'm sure there are a lot of citizens that got slipped through the cracks as far as population. I said that to say this. As far as Bidet goes, you're not going to find hardly another municipality that shows somebody with a neighborhood of 4,000 people that own all their utilities, have a $45 million budget, not 45, excuse me, $35 million budget, a hydroelectric plant, and all the assets that we have. So to say that, you know, as far as the numbers go, is there people that get paid more in some of the bigger towns or cities? Yes, they are. Is there some that's considerably less? Yes, there are. So it's the aldermen's salaries are up to them. Nobody else. I don't set their salaries. They approve budgets. They approve their salaries. Now, the only thing they can't do is during their elected time that they're here, they cannot lower their wages. They can only increase them. So, you know, when we get to that discussion of the aldermen, what they get or what they have is strictly influenced by those men and women sitting up here today. Not me, not you, unless you'll have public comment on what you think they should get or what they were worth. But as far as that, that's strictly up to them. And that's going to be their discussion to make publicly tonight. We're just going to discuss it tonight, but there's going to be more discussion because all that was requested tonight is to be put on the agenda for discussion. If they want to move forward with an amount, we will put up an ordinance to change the alderman's salary if that's the way they want to move. And we'll present it the next meeting, and then it will take 2 months for that to happen. We'll have to first present it as an ordinance. That wasn't a request tonight to do it by ordinance. It was a request to discuss it. So the next meeting, we would have a discussion with presenting an ordinance. We'd introduce it, and then the next meeting, we would vote on it and have a major discussion between the public. Let's see, did I answer all your questions?
The only concern that I have is once each individual start discussing it, we are locked out of that because we can only help before y'all start.
Well, and again, that's because that decision is between them of what they want to pay themselves. Really, I mean, as far as, you know, as far as the public goes, it's what they feel like they should be getting. They know what time they have invested. They know what calls they're getting. They know, you know, what they have invested in their time. I'm going to leave that up to them. I'm not going to even participate in it, and I don't think, you know, there's a lot of citizens that maybe should participate from a standpoint of they don't know what they do every day or what they don't do. So I feel like that discussion should be amongst themselves of what they feel like they should make and be comfortable with. Yeah.
You know, there is a public hearing before the adoption of it.
Right, yeah, before, you know, that's why we're doing this now. If anybody has, you know, hey, look, I want to see them make whatever, you can certainly say that. But before the ordinance is finalized and voted on, there will be another public comment time to say whether or not, hey, I like what we did or I don't like what we did. So, I think they got them all in. Okay. Anybody else? Because I'm fixing to close out public comment and we're going to move on. Okay? Nobody coming forward, we're going to close the public comment section and we're going to go to number 1 on our agenda is presentation of our financial statements from our CPA, Ms. Deborah Moak.
Tonight's financial statements include the balance sheet as of February 28th, 2021, the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for the 8 months ending February 28, 2021, a summary budget to actual comparison by fund, and a detailed budget to actual comparison by department. These financial statements have been distributed to all departments and aldermen for their review. In summary, the town has combined cash in the bank of $8.5 million. Of this amount, there's $6.7 million that's in the hydro fund and $745,000 that's in the sales tax fund that are restricted funds. We have investments of $3.9 million, which the hydro reserve has $2.4 million in CDs and money market account, and we also have a $1.5 million in the general fund in a CD. Total assets are $37.3 million, total liabilities are $8.5 million, and the fund balance combined is $28.8 million. The statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance for the 8 months ending February 28th indicates combined revenues of $21.8 million, or 58% of the total revenue, which is 9% under budget. Total expenditures of $22.7 million, or 63% of total expenditures. Expenditures are under budgeted by 4%, for a net change in position of a negative $978,000. The negative change in net position is due to the revenues have not caught up with the timing of the expenditures. The negative position is turning around and will continue to move in a positive direction over the next few months with the projected increase in the hydro royalties. The increase in royalty percentage and the higher production will cause the royalties to increase over the next few months and bring the town back into a positive net position. Personnel expenses are slightly higher than budget due to the retiring of several longtime city employees with built-up accrued leave time. We do not budget for the retirement payout. Included in these financial statements is the hydro royalty rebates in the amount of $1.28 million. Rebate checks were mailed out in November and were 62% higher than the previous year. These financial statements also include capital outlay of $3 million of a $5.4 million budget, or 56% of the total amount budgeted. It is anticipated not all capital outlay will be spent in this fiscal year due to the change in need and due to the length of time needed to make preparations for the expense, which will result in a carryover to fiscal year 2022. At the end of February, expenditures were at 63% of budget. These financial statements include approximately $375,000 for emergency work and debris removal during and after the winter storm. We have opened a claim with the insurance company and have submitted a request for public assistance through FEMA. The entire process will take months to complete, and we will receive funding on a 75% basis. Through April 13th, $2.7 million has been borrowed for the substation construction to cover materials, engineering costs, and legal fees incurred. The aldermen have been notified before the draws are made so that they can be aware of where the money is being spent. All costs are recorded as a capital asset and as a liability on the balance sheet. The appraisals are complete for the right-of-ways, and negotiations are pending for the acquisition of the right-of-ways. Construction at the city court building is ongoing, but the mold cleanup is finished and the windows have been sealed, ceiling tiles replaced. The front has been pressure washed, and I believe the carpet has been installed. So we should be right on target with getting all the improvements made there in this fiscal year. The new barge loading facility at the port is complete, along with the punch list, and final payment has been made. And we are also now carrying insurance on that conveyor system. We have received $174,000 from FEMA for 75% of the amount needed to cover the actual cost of the fiber optic replacement along the riverfront, roadway improvements, sewer repairs, and repairs to the Vidalia Canal due to the 2019 flood. The town's cost is 25% of the estimated cost to repair. The town of Vidalia has applied for federal reimbursements through the State CARES Act this fiscal year, and for expenses and costs related to COVID. The town has received $488,000 this fiscal year. We have begun working on the proposed 2021-22 budget by holding meetings with the department heads as a whole and individually. The budget will be presented at the May meeting to be advertised in the town's legal journal and approved by the board at the special meeting to be set in May. An amended budget will be presented to the board in June before the end of the fiscal year. That concludes my discussion.
Okay, any questions of Ms. Moak? If not, we'll move on to number 2, our board discussion and vote on approval of occupational license application. We have BK Bookkeeping and Tax Solutions. Ms. Bernice King, is she here? Ms. Bernice King here? Okay, looks like she'll be doing a bookkeeping services, payroll services, and tax preparation and filing. Is there any questions on the app?
My question is, this is out of her home?
Yes, looks like it is out of her home.
And my second question is, have she been made aware that her utilities at her home is gonna change?
Do not know that, but we can make sure she gets aware of that. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion that we accept this
I
application?
make that motion.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Denby. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next thing we have is board discussion and vote on approval of an outdoor sign application by Bidet Estates Mobile Home Community. Mr. Adam Scott, Drew Easley on 113 Clark Drive. You'll see the application, you'll see the rendering on the second page, and I'm sure it's going to be probably on Clark Drive is where that is at the end of one of the streets, which basically, I guess, identifies where their office is. Is there any questions on this? Do I hear a motion to accept the sign application?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Best. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Denby. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, and the next one we have is board discussion vote on approval of a liquor permit for 2021 for BB's Fish Fry. Ms. Brenda Floyd at 1100 Carter Street. Anybody got any questions? Do I hear a motion we accept this permit?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Smith. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Best. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, now we're on to item number 5. It's presentation for board approval of proposed contract between Town of Vidalia and AirMed Care Network, Air Evac for 2021. And Ms. Sherry Ite is here. She is the sales manager for Air Evac. So Sherry, if you want to come to the microphone and address the council. I think there were a few questions when we left, and I think we've got those questions answered, so to speak. But
Okay, I hope I can simplify everything for you. First, again, my name is Sherry Ite. I'm the membership sales manager for the AirMed Care Network, which you may know as Air Evac here locally. There's 2 parts to this. So the first part is the contract between the city of Vidalia that covers the residents. So that's the first part. The second part we will address after we complete and answer all questions to the first part. So the second part is the employees of the city of Vidalia. So the first part is we've had this contract with the city of Vidalia probably the last 5-6 years. The contract did not go up. It's $19,394. So this will cover all of your city residents in the event that they are airlifted from Catahoula Parish, Concordia Parish, or Adams County, okay? If they are uninsured, meaning no insurance whatsoever, they will be billed the Medicare allowable rate, whatever that may be at that time, okay? So in other words, they will not be billed the full rate, they will get a discount. Everybody in the city has the option to upgrade to the full coverage, which will cover them across 320 locations, 38 states, okay? And that price would be $35 if they are above the age of 60, $45 if they are below the age of 60, and that does cover the entire household. So if that uninsured upgrades to the full membership, they will not receive a bill, okay? So the town's not responsible for that uninsured, whether they decide to upgrade or not, okay? The last time I was here, last month, I did not have numbers to report to you over the last year, which we'd like to report those, just to kind of give you an idea of how many times we're called within that year. So, just over the last 12 months in Concordia Parish alone, this does not include Catahoula or Adams County, but in Concordia Parish alone, we were activated over 220 times over 12 months, okay? Over 150 of those were interfacility transfers. Over 70 of those were scene accidents where we had to land on the scene. Do we have any questions?
any questions?
I guess my question is gonna be, so this, you said it stayed the same, that's including what we asked for both policies, the combination of both?
No, we'll talk about
Okay.
that. We'll
So
talk
this
about
is
the
just-
employees
okay.
in a minute.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I kind of keep those separate.
Okay, so my second question is, I know you said those different parishes in Adams County, but I do know we have, when we decide about the employees, we have employees that also live in Tensas Parish as well. So I'm just throwing that out there, but that was,
Okay.
The second part of it, if they're a City of Vidalia employee, don't matter where they live, that's gonna be the question. I
But
mean, they
when
would be
she-
covered. If they're a City of Vidalia employee, they'd be covered no matter what parish they live.
yeah, when she named those particular ones, so I just knew that we had employees also that live in Tensas.
Right, right. So that's just the first part. We just
Okay.
I want to make sure we kind of keep these two separate. So the contract that we've had in place for the last 5 or 6 years, that's what we're bringing before the board to go ahead and vote to continue for the next year. Okay, so that's the 19,000.
So, and I think,
$394.
I think what you want to do is go ahead and vote on this because the second part would be something totally different anyway.
Correct.
Okay, so what you have before you is this that we've done for the last several years. You know, I personally think, you know, if it saves one person's life, somebody in one of our residents get flown somewhere, it saves their life to get to good medical care or a heart doctor or specialist or whatever, you know, it's well worth it, you know, and I would like to.
I second your motion.
Motion made by Alderman Bidet, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now let's discuss the second part about the employees.
Okay, so the second part, it is, we looked at several different ways to add them to that plan. So, I will tell you, it would be a substantial amount of money to add those employees that live outside of the city limits to that particular plan. The best route that I'm gonna recommend that we go is just add it to the benefit package. And adding it to the benefit package, we roughly talked about 160 employees, which would be $7,200 for all of your employees, no matter where they live.
And that's their whole family.
That covers
So-
their entire household. Jay and I would work very, very close together as far as if there's any turnover to make sure that Jane Doe, when they leave, they lose that benefit. John Doe's covered whenever John Doe's hired on. So we will work close together to make sure that those changes are made.
That you shall keep, that you're paying for the right number of people, that's correct? So you're insuring that employee, but basically, as Jay explained, there'll be a slot with the town of Vidalia.
Correct.
If they were to be terminated or leave or whatever, that's then empty until somebody is hired and then they
Correct.
automatically step in. Okay, so, and council, basically, it's whether or not y'all want to make it a benefit for the employees for us to pay that, where they get, you know, the full package for their employee, no matter where they live. If they're a Vidalia resident, they're already getting coverage, but by doing this, it also covers them outside Catahoula, Concordia, Adams, if they're on vacation somewhere, playing ball down in South Louisiana, or, you know, wherever
Correct.
that may
Correct.
be, they can be flown if it's a family member. So it
what's
basically comes down to a decision if y'all want to make that a benefit for the employees to be an employee for the town of Vidalia for $7,200.
What's the rate that's how much is the rate?
$45 per employee.
$45 per employee.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's gonna be $7,200 a month?
No, a year.
$7,200 a year.
Oh, okay.
I make a motion, we
I second
accept.
the motion.
Okay, motion made by Alderman Probst, second by Alderman Gardner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, the next thing we have on our number 6 is board discussion and vote on approval of disposition of town departments surplus equipment and vehicles. You have a list. We've been trying to start cleaning up a lot of areas around within our city our buildings and so forth. We have a lot of old vehicles, a lot of junk, and basically this is what you're looking at. Is there any questions on this, on disposal, how you want to do it? If it's something that's not can be bid on, do we take it to Pac-Man, or do you want us to distinguish what that is and let you know what they are, or else put them up for bid and let people bid on all these different things?
I say put it up for bid, but I have a question. The Cashman Golf Court, how old is it?
The what now?
Police Department, the Cashman Golf Court, about, you know, because people may want to know the age. You don't know? Yeah, I had a few, yeah, because I seen it was some years of some of the products that wasn't listed on some, a selected few things,
Well,
not just that.
I would prefer that, you know, like these mowers that are scrapped, let's scrap them and take them to Fat Man. There is no need to take a bid on junk. Now, if some of these vehicles that, I don't know, if somebody wants to bid on them, I wouldn't think they would be worth very much at all.
So, well,
Be-
can we let those department heads kind of tell us whether it's worth somebody buying, or it's just?
Sure.
I'll have to say that one man's junk is another man's treasure.
That's true.
So I say bid it all.
So,
That's my opinion.
Okay, so can I get y'all to go ahead and approve if nobody bids on any of the stuff? Can we go ahead and take it to Pac-Man if we have no bids on it?
If we have no bids, then I agree. Take
I'd
it
like
to
to put
Pac-Man.
that into the motion, or whatever we motion, how
Bid
you want to do
first,
this.
then Pac-Man second.
That's what I think.
All right, any other viewpoints or any other question? Y'all okay with that? All right, well,
What's the motion?
somebody make the motion.
I'll make the motion that we bid first. If there's no purchases made, then scrap it to Pac-Man second.
I'll second
Okay. Motion made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, some of those are just lawnmower decks out there. I'm just going. Okay. Next thing we have is item number 7. Recently, y'all know in our winter storm, we had the Lafayette Utility System, LUS, come in by us being a member of LEPA. I was able to call Kevin Bim, who is the general manager of LEPA, and that next day we had a convoy of trucks in to help get our power back up. And this is just a resolution for us to have council approve this assistance by, all the LEPA member cities. It's time to renew this, and I think this would be a good thing. It doesn't cost us anything unless they actually come out like they did. And I'll be honest with you, the work they did was amazing. They got our town back up, helped us get our town back up relatively quickly, which, by the way, anybody with ruts in their yards, get your cameras ready. You're gonna see town assets fixing ruts on private property, so get your cameras ready. But we're gonna come fix those ruts that we tore up people's yards, going in behind and trying to get these power lines put up. We're going to be, if you see us on a yard, you're welcome to verify that, but we're going to be repairing the damage we did to people's property during that winter storm. So if you see that or hear anything on there that we're doing things for other people, look and see, but we're gonna be fixing a lot of things that we broke during that time. So just wanted to say that. But anyway, this is a resolution. It's just that make sure that we're in the queue to be able to get this help in the future. If we have another disaster, winter storm, we can call on these utilities through this association to get help if we need it, and it costs us nothing. So can I have a motion?
Mayor Kraft, I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made by Alderman Betts,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay.
I got one question about the freeze that's still, some people are still having problems with. We cleaned the limbs off, and we went around and took limbs out of trees that were dangerous. Well, there are still some limbs that are over road that are hanging that
Okay,
have
could
not
you-
been cleaned up. And
Okay.
they said they were gonna come back and clean them up, but I got some residents that are still
Okay.
waiting, and
You-
they haven't been
If
done.
you would have those residents contact us, and if they are in fact above the street, we
Right.
will get them.
Right, because they're still falling. Basically, they're dangers.
Well, with
There's a
these-
lot of different ones around.
If they're over the street,
Right.
we'll come get them. If they're
Right.
over your house and on a tree in your yard, we can't get those.
Oh, I know that, but
They're
I'm
over that
saying that
street,
there
we
are
can-
some over the street that could
Ricky,
definitely fall out.
if y'all, we could get a list, or if you'd have those set, we'd be glad to get them down, because we don't want them to fall.
But you
in.
make the assessment as it is over the street or not. Y'all need to make that, Ricky will
Right.
need to make that assessment to see, because some of them are saying they are, and I know some of them that aren't, but there are some that are, so.
Well, there's a lot of people that think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's
That
over the
street's right
street,
here,
no.
but that's just right over there. Well, if it fell out, it's gonna hit the road and bounce on the car, so.
Okay, let's move on to item number 8, and that's gonna be, I'm fixing to open up the bids. It's discussion vote on awarding of the bid for the new garbage truck. The subject to bid meeting all the required specs. So basically, when we open these specs, if we take the low bidder, if we approve that bidder, it's gonna be based on if the specs that they have are up to what we had requested in the bid package. So I'm just saying there's a possibility if we or approve the lowest bid and the specs aren't what we need, like for example, engine size or how many yards the bucket truck is, we want to make sure that they're the specs that we asked for. So I'm going to be opening these up and calling them out, and this is going to be the first one. So, and Lee, do you want to go ahead and discuss a little bit why? It's time to get another truck.
Yeah, Mayor and Board of Aldermen, this is a time when our lease is coming up. It's probably around 6 months out. It's build time on a new vehicle that takes bidding this one out now. Hopefully we'll have it by the time the lease is up. And then also we have another one coming up in about, I guess about a year, 8 months, someone else will be asking for the same thing again. And I've also talked to Mayor Kraft, and we've also talked to Ms. Moak about on our new budget coming up, that me and Mayor Kraft are talking about taking the next truck that comes off the line and actually, instead of turning it back in, we're thinking about trying to buy that truck. We have a 2006 model truck. It's a small yard truck that we're using as a backup truck right now, and it's getting older and it's real small and it won't take the load that these other big Goliath trucks that we have. And so we're talking about on the next truck, buying that truck outright. It's going to be around $100,000 something. So we're actually putting it in our budget now to try to do that so that the guys can have a really reliable backup truck. Of course, we'll probably sell the other one. I think that was the deal we got. We swapped an old police car for one of Jonesville's old garbage trucks that they wasn't in the business anymore. So like I said, it's been a great truck for us for backup purposes, but it's just too small and it's too old to do what we really want to do.
And to reinforce what Lee's saying is, like, for example, after this storm, when the garbage crews, they get through after their runs, or if we need an extra group, we've recently got another CDL driver that we've lost. We had some retire, and we hired some that we can put on this third truck to go around and just pick up the plastic bags that people have leaves in to help. Because those knuckle boom trucks to stop and boom down and pick up some 1 or 2 bags of leaves, when we can put somebody in a third truck to go and just throw those in those and pick them up, help us stay up to date, especially when we have the amount of debris that we had in these emergency situations, and a more reliable truck. Because even though these trucks are new, they do have times that they have, some things happen to them. They have to go in the shop, could be a few days. And we need good equipment, because when your trash ain't picked up, that's one of the biggest calls we get. They're gonna be calling if it's not
I
picked
would
up.
like to take this time to thank the board and the mayor and Ms. Moak and Jay for helping us try to keep trucks that are really in great condition for our guys that work. Because I'm gonna tell you, all of y'all know what a hard job they have and how clean they keep our city. So thank y'all for y'all's help.
Okay, the first bid we have got is from River City Hydraulics. And yes, they've got a price in there somewhere. Go to the back.
On the back page, Mayor.
That's where all the specs are. Lord of mercy. Yeah, this is where all the specs are. Okay, here we go. $201,819, which is more than the last few that we bought, but $201,819. Did y'all get that? That's from River City Hydraulics.
Do they have a lease, lease terms on that, Mayor?
Okay, that is the purchase agreement. Let me see if the lease agreement's behind it. Yes, they can, the lease payment is for a lease rate at 2.29%, 36 payments of $3,125.22, with a balloon payment of $100,000 due 1 month after a final payment.
$2.29%.
2.29%, 3 years, $3,125.22.
3 years or
36 months is 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years.
I thought you said 30, I'm sorry.
No, 36 months. 36 months, $3,125.22. And that's Bank Core South would be the finance. Okay, all right, that's, next bid is from, if anybody wants to look at these afterwards, they're welcome to do that. This is from Scott Equipment. And for a lease, they don't have a sale price amount. They have it's a 2021 International, and it's a 36-month lease at $3,049.50. 36 months, $3,049.50. The actual equipment cost is $199,187, and their rate is also at 2.29%, and that's also at Bank Corps South. Okay, any questions? Okay. And our only other bid that we have this is going to be from PacMac, is that right, Lee? Yes. Okay. A little cheaper as far as the total price, as far as the cost of it's $170,249. Let's see if we've got the lease. And of course, all of these would have to fit a certain, all have warranties as well.
Did you say the name of that company is PacMac?
It was PacMac, P-A-C-M-A-C. I have not seen a leasing option in this bid yet, though.
I think the vendor PacMac is here if you want to ask.
Is he here?
There's a 3-year buyback price on there, and I can pull it up here just.
Well, appreciate you coming. First time I've, I think, seen one of the
That's right, it should be there right by the price under it, there should be a 3-year buyback price on there.
okay, here's the quote. It just says total, page 1, 170,000. I don't see,
Okay, and if after the meeting, or I can view the bids, I'll make a point out to you where that price is on the 3-year,
well,
Can you locate it right now?
yeah, come
Go
on.
ahead
I
and
mean,
locate it right
is there a lease option in here that I'm missing? I mean, huh?
if possible, I can left it out.
Y'all left it out. But I hope you find it, because
That's right, the bid price is $172.49,
okay.
and then the 3-year guaranteed buyback price is $98,214.
Okay, I mean, do I need to do the math myself and try to figure out the lease?
And our trade-in conditions are attached there.
Okay, but I think the bids, I'll ask for a lease, how much is the lease payment and what's the rate and all that?
Okay, well, if I fail to provide that, then that's on me, and
Oh,
what I have is a bid price and the 3-year buyback price.
okay.
And the terms and conditions are included in there. I don't know the exact rate, on the lease.
Okay, because that's all important
Right, I understand.
for us. I mean, okay, here's what I'd like to do, because I know you spent your time being here and all, and what I would like to do is, if you could, is let us discuss this. If as far as cost of units, yours is the lowest.
Right.
The only thing that could probably jeopardize that, if y'all's lease option has a high interest rate on it and throw the payment above the others.
Right.
Okay? So what I'd like to see is what that option is to buy at the end of 36 months of monthly payments to lease this and send y'all monthly payments. And then, you know, if this is a unit that would do for us, and I can tell you, your sales price is cheapest, subject to getting us a lease option. If the council wants to approve us to accept this bid based on a lease option that the interest rates is equal to or better than the other two bids, I think they would entertain that.
And I will get that information.
and, you know, and we could go ahead and maybe move on it, but I want the council to discuss it first with, and before we do that. But I just want to make sure it's not in here, because I didn't see it, so, okay. All right, thank you so much. All right, any questions about what's going on as far as?
So my question, I guess, is to the attorney. Is that, I agree with you doing it, but is that okay for us to do it that particular way?
I think we got a problem with the bids being submitted. It was not a properly submitted bid. Yeah. And so I believe because of the technicality, unfortunately, he is out.
Okay.
Because of it.
The other bids were open.
You either have to throw them all out.
Okay.
And let him come back to do that, or you have to take the bids as was presented.
Well, I'm not against throwing them all out and starting over if we're gonna beat a big price on that, depending on his interest rate.
But see, the only thing is we got a problem with these other companies.
Yeah.
The cat's out of the bag, what the cost of
Oh, I understand.
what the,
Yeah.
yeah.
But is it
And that-
legal to
and
throw
I-
them all out or not, council?
I'd be scared.
Okay, well, then that's all said and done then. He's out.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah,
Man, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Well, I guess I'm pretty green, and I'll know next time.
Okay, all right, well, hey, look, we've got another one coming up, when, Lee? About 8 months from now, we'll have another one, and look, I'm very sorry for your time you spent, and, but we have to be very careful, and they're absolutely right. I mean, cat's out of the bag now with the dollars and cents, and now that would be, wrong to try to redo that, so, so the cheapest one was gonna be from, the second one, that was,
Scott Equipment.
so, I hear a motion to accept that bid.
And it meets all the qualifications, we've reviewed that.
Subject to it meeting all the qualifications, we will look through that, and subject to meeting all those qualifications. If it does not, we'll move to the first bid.
All right. I'll make a motion.
Oh, somebody would have made one, I think. Did someone ever make one?
I think Ms. Rose.
Ms. Rose, did you make that motion? Oh, you
No.
did?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Alderman Probst made the motion, or a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Alderman Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right. Item number 9 on our agenda is the board discussion regarding salaries for members of the Board of Aldermen. And again, I'm going to open that up to the aldermen to discuss amongst themselves. And
Before we go any further, I have a question for council. Council, is it okay if we change do we have to make a motion to change the verbiage and add verbiage to this? How do we have to do it to add verbiage, which the verbiage would be board discussion and vote on change ordinance of alderman salary?
you got to have ordinance. You can't change it without ordinance. It's got to be an ordinance presented showing that amount.
Okay,
It's got it. But go ahead, council, he asked you,
So-
but you can't,
so we need to discuss it tonight, and if it's passed, then it'll be presented at the next meeting with an amount.
right, it'll be presented as an ordinance that would just be presented at the next meeting, and then it would take the next following meeting after, all the advertising and so forth, and having public comment, then it would be approved. So it's gonna take 2 months.
Okay, so let me ask this question. Which alderman was the one, or whomever added this to the agenda?
I did.
Ms. Denby asked.
So my
okay.
second question is, why wasn't that told to that alderman? Or was it told to you?
What?
That in order to get this passed tonight, that the other,
She requested it for the discussion. She didn't want to go ahead and put it up to introduce it as an ordinance, because she didn't know what amount until she discussed it with y'all in an open meeting, what it would be. So she just wanted to put it on the table for discussion, was my recollection of it.
is
I
that,
didn't understand that.
so you didn't understand, it wasn't broken down to you?
No, I didn't understand that. When I asked for it to be put on the agenda.
You thought
So
that,
that we could speak to it this afternoon, I was thinking that we were going to discuss and vote.
okay,
I did not understand that it had to go through other channels first.
okay.
But that is the procedure on it. Because it has to be an actual ordinance drawn up by council, will draw up an ordinance changing and
So council,
introduced.
so there is no way to, for us to discuss and come up with an amount tonight and then have the second part done at next month's meeting?
I think you can discuss
But my
You
question
know,
is.
the law says that to introduce, you have to have that ordinance in front of you to enter, that's gotta be
Okay.
introduced. So there's no ordinance now, and I just wanna explain, when I talked to Ms. Denby, it was my understanding that she just wanted to bring it up for discussion first. And, you know, if I might have misunderstood.
No, that's not what I
But there
was-
wouldn't have been able to have been a vote unless an ordinance was introduced, so.
When I asked for it to be on the agenda, I did not understand that it had to be inclusive of a.
But then that ordinance
Okay.
itself is gonna have to have a specific amount of the salary.
I see what you're talking about. I think you can discuss whether or not to increase salaries. And if you want to pick a figure, then someone will ask that the ordinance be prepared
Right.
and submitted at the next meeting.
Well, that's what I was saying. Can we do that tonight?
That's
Yes.
what I said earlier, that you can submit the ordinance.
Okay.
You can introduce it, but it won't be voted on till the following meeting.
But you said 2 more meetings from now. You said we had to go.
No, I said you can introduce it as an ordinance next meeting, but you gotta advertise after you introduce the ordinance, and then it'll be at the next regular meeting when you will vote on it.
I think he means, can they pick a figure?
Yeah, tonight they can pick whatever they want to. I mean, I'm not gonna get involved in that discussion, that's up between them. I'm just saying that what the procedure is discussion tonight, and then come up with a figure, and then put it in the ordinance, and it's presented at the next meeting. And then the following meeting, it will be
So I
public
guess-
comment and vote.
Not trying to be negative, but I know you said you don't want to get involved, but, so, my question, I imagine, is gonna be now, when we're asking those questions, if we're directing it to council, if you would allow him to answer those
I'll
questions
be
for us.
glad to, but if I know the answer, I'll do that too, but that is.
I mean, because
the law.
that's being involved.
Okay.
I know you said you don't want to be involved, but that's being
But I'm
involved.
involved very much, so, but go ahead. Okay, Linda. All right. Council?
We gonna start on that end?
Well, is it my time to?
Sure,
to
if you want
speak?
to.
Okay. I'm the one, and I thank you for allowing me to put this on the agenda, but I didn't know that it was going to have to go through other channels. Nobody said that when I asked about it. You know, I was expecting that it would be put on the agenda and we would vote on it, but that was my bad because I didn't ask questions as well. But anyway, I know that we were elected to serve, and that's what we have all been doing. And I truly know that. And I know that it's a job that is 24/7. You know, they call all of the time, that's what they're supposed to do, because we were elected to represent the people. And so what I am saying that the salary, and I heard that it was possibly 2014 when the raise came about. As of now, it's $8,427.84. That's for the year. And I looked at other places, and they go from anywhere from $274,000, which we're not asking anywhere near anything like that, a year. That's the highest. And we to the lowest of $50. Now, here's what I did. I looked at medium range, and in the medium range we have anywhere from $16,950 to $18,000. There is a little place, and maybe somebody can tell me, but I did the population on it, and it's very small. It's even smaller than Vidalia, and it's Ottawa. Is that Ottawa? A little city in Louisiana that's called Ottawa. Ottawa.
There is a,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember where it's at.
Anyway, it's a little small town, and they pay their aldermen $15,000. Covington, Louisiana, well, we know that that's a big place. They pay $13,000, but they also give a monthly stipend. There's a little small place in Mississippi. I said I'd reach over to Mississippi and see what they do. There's a little place, Baton Rouge, of course, pays $17,760, but they also give a a stipend of $800 monthly for travel. And so I reached over to some of those small places like Brookhaven, Mississippi, $15,016. Natchez, Mississippi in 2017. And on the book, they have asked for a raise, and I wasn't able to find anybody to tell me what it is in 2021. But in 2017, Natchez paid $23,300. Opelousas, $16,390. Alexandria, $10,000 with an $800 travel. I kept trying to Google Moxville, but I couldn't get anything from Moxville. But anyway, we went on up to Vicksburg, Mississippi. And in Vicksburg, and I know we're not asking for this, Vicksburg paid $82,191. They also pay their mayor $107,149. So I'm not asking for $87,000, but I did think that perhaps we could come up with anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, which would be comparable to Brookhaven, Natchez, Opelousas, Yazoo City, small place, little small rural area, 26,000. So I just felt that we'd be somewhere in between 12,000 to 15,000 a year. Discussion, please. That's my report.
I appreciate that. You brought a lot that I wasn't aware of. But I've been thinking about that all day. When I decided to run, and this was just me, and I feel like a lot of y'all, I honestly hate to say this because I don't, anyway, I didn't even know if they got paid or not. I wanted to run and, give back to my community. I thought about that. I thought, well, if before I got anything, I would love to see every employee of the town get a raise before me. I mean, y'all the ones that make us. I mean, y'all the backbone of the whole town, in my opinion. But if we were to vote for one, I'd almost say I would rather see if we voted for one for it not to take effect till the next election. I mean, because we all knew what we were getting into. I mean, I know, well, there was more than what I thought I was getting into, but I just think it would be fair. I just don't really think it's fair to vote herself a raise if we're going to raise it. And I'm not disagreeing with you either, because you did bring up a lot of good points that we just, go into effect the next term, the next election. I mean, that's just my thoughts. I mean,
We moving our way around, so I mean, it's June.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Now, I agree, it's been a while since we've had one, since I've served the longest. I know that. I appreciate your wanting to do this. I never looked at this as being something to really get paid for. When I was elected, I wanted to do a job, represent people of this town and make wise decisions for that. Personally, I think that boards and things like this made better decisions a long time ago when they didn't get paid nothing. I said that I would do the job for nothing, and my wife said, no, you won't. You'll take what they give you. So that's what we've done. I'm satisfied. I'm not, like I said, I don't do this for the money. I do believe that we're fairly compensated for what we do, and I know that there's times that we get called on and different things like that, but that's part of it too. And when you sign up and you're elected, as you said, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing, and expected. And that's just to me, that's just something that I signed on for.
Since I guess it's my turn now, I think you said something about employees first. I think the mayor has made sure that the employees did receive maybe a 3% or some type of raise. Am I right? Recently, employees did receive a raise.
That was last budget year, not this
Yes,
past.
but last budget year.
And there have been merit raises based on supervisor recommendations and.
So he's also saying that there's been other raises given, merit raises as well given, he just stated. I personally, as an alderman, I try to help in every aspect that my constituents need. There's no times that I don't answer my phone from citizens and employees. Whether it's neighbors funding, whether it's neighbors feuding, I answer my phone. Trying to figure out when a tree limb has fallen and whose side is responsible. Is it city side or is it their side to get it taken down or whatever? I answer. Since day one, I have given the Robert L. Gardner Scholarship to 2 graduating Vidalia High School seniors. When I give that scholarship, it comes out of my city check. Every year, I purposely do that, every year, and I will continue to do that as long as I'm alderman. I work tireless hours to try to figure out what is the best interest for the city. Sometimes you can't just make decisions, but you need advice from other councilmen, attorney general office, and it takes days to get answers on what's legal and what's not. You may even have to drive miles to meet with people at the LMA office because you get better results when you do face-to-face versus just calling over the phone. Being an alderman who is equal and fair and can be hard, it can be a hard job. Yes, I know that's what I signed up for personally. Do the aldermen of Vidalia need a raise? Absolutely. It may seem like we are part-time, but with full-time duties. Researching things takes time and lots of hours. Even an attorney, when we reach out and give him projects to do, it takes hours. We have to compensate him for his research. And we, as aldermen, our due diligence is to do research as well. Whatever the problem may be, you reach out to your alderman. If it's something with somebody an employee that works here, you reach out to your alderman to make that phone call and report saying, hey, I see they didn't put the lid on top of my trash can. They didn't put the trash can back in the same spot that it is normally in. They didn't pick my trash up today. Or, why is the water got discoloration in it? Can we drink the water? Do we need to boil the water? What do we need to do? Is the water safe to drink? Is the water safe to take a bath in? Can I wash my clothes with the water? These are all questions that I get all day long, all the time. And then personally, I have experienced all calls at all hours of the night, from 1 a.m. in the morning, because I think it's well-deserved. And when you pay the best, you get the best. And it's not always about the pay, but if we can take care of everybody else, I feel like we deserve to be taken care of as well. No, I did not sign up for the check. It's not about the check. I personally would put my life on the line for each citizen and employee of this town. But to not want to appreciate the drivenness of going Monroe or Baton Rouge or New Orleans or Alexandria to get with other people to find out, hey, this is the policy that we have in place. What is y'all policy? How are y'all handling this situation? What can I take back to my town to make it better for us? I know I do that. I can't speak for every other alderman, but I know I do that. And I know the first 4 years, if it wasn't 2, it was 3 times that I was up here at City Hall making sure that I was doing my due diligence as an alderman for this town, because I care. I simply care. And there's nothing that nobody can do to stop me from caring. When I'm not sitting in this seat anymore, I will still care. So yes, we deserve it. Whether you feel like you work harder for it or not, some aldermen do. And I can attest that I, Robert Gardner, I work my bones. I work hard for this. And Jay can relate that I call him all the time. He calls me all the time. We communicate all the time. Even Deborah, I have went and sat down and said, hey, break this budget down to me. Explain this to me. Because I don't want to just get in here and look at some numbers. I want to know what I'm voting to approve. I want to make sure whatever the mayor or whatever the department heads are asking for, everything is lined and intact. I'm not just finna say yes because the mayor presents it or whoever asks for it. I want to make sure that is the right thing to do. So I support a raise for the alderman because it's well deserved. And I know deep in you all's minds, the ones that are saying, well, yeah, this, that, and the other, you need it. You deserve it. Whatever you do, you took the oath to take this position. So if you don't feel like you deserve it, vote for one of your other aldermen because they do. The one who's getting the buck of the call, because I answer calls in District 3, in District 2, and in District 1. When somebody calling me telling me a goat is hollering in their yard at all hours of the night, somebody got a goat as a pet. Am I lying, Jay? I get all kinds of calls. You will be surprised of the calls. They think we can wave a magic wand and fix everything. And I'm not God. He can do all that, but I can help to try to come up with a resolution to help to figure out what to make it easier for those constituents that are having those issues, or those employees that may be having an issue with their department head, or their department head that may be having an issue with the I get all those calls. All day long, all the time. Whether it's now the city cell phone, or because some employees may be scared to call me on the city phone, they call me on a personal phone. I get those calls. So yes, absolutely, we definitely deserve it. But whether or not you're gonna be man enough to stand up and give it to you because you care about what the people think or feel, I know what I do. I know what I have done. And each city employee know that they can come by my house, they know they can call me, and I'm just gonna come outside and help. Whether I can help them or not, I'm gonna listen. And it's sometimes I have to, I call Lee and say, Lee, I went to college for business, but I did not go to college. I don't even know what this part or this cement or this metal is, but when that citizen called me, I am right there. Well, I know how to fix the problem or not, listening to him tell them. So now I can say I know. Oh, that's not city, that's your personal property. We can't do that. But then, just so I can make sure that I'm giving the right aspects of everything, I still will call Lee or Ricky and say, hey, or Cornell, because I call Cornell too, hey, somebody say they don't know how to light something on the stove, is this stove, this brand stove, this particular type of way? I get all these calls. It's no time of the day or night that I don't receive a call. When people are wanting to open up businesses and wanting you to walk them through the procedures of who do I go to or how is this done, I get those calls. So yes, once again, I do support the alderman's salary adjustment.
I need to ask, on that amount of money that you said that those people got, was there insurance included in that also? Travel stipend, insurance,
Some of them
and money?
had, some of them, it was inclusive of benefits with some,
Okay,
and our stipends as well.
Okay.
Like an $800 stipend.
okay.
Most of them was with benefits. And I apologize that I did not reach out to you all prior to putting this on, but it doesn't matter. I did what I felt that I needed to do.
Okay.
And so that's what I did.
I need to
No hard
ask-
feelings whether you vote for it or not.
Okay.
I brought it before the board.
Jay, what's the average insurance cost us if we were an alderman to be on the policy, the ones that wanted to be on it? We have the option, correct?
Single coverage is $135.48 a month. Family coverage, I think, will run $378 a month.
Totals out to how much a year?
And that's just the
Now, that's
employees
it.
That's the
part.
employees portion.
The
Okay.
Town has to pay the.
I'm saying, how much is a town, if we were to take that insurance, which we have the option to, right? Correct?
Yes.
If we did, how much would the city pay for that insurance?
Family coverage?
Family coverage,
It's like,
19,000, I can tell you what it is.
okay? 19,000 plus
So add that to
8,000
the
is how much?
930.
1,900 a month.
No, it's 19,000 for a total year.
Per year.
Per
Per year.
year. 19,000 plus 8,000 is how much?
27,000.
27,000. If you want that option, as an alderman, you have that option. As she said, some of those are benefits included in those high salaries.
Well,
So
that's
yes, we have the option as an alderman to make $27,000 a year with the city, correct?
If you had family coverage, that's what it
If we
would
had
cost.
family, and we have the option of family coverage, right? Okay. And if we had just had our own coverage, just for us, how much would we make? I don't know what it was, but it'd still be a good salary. It would be a 19, 18,000. So my point being is, I'm happy with it. I mean, I feel like we have that option. If you want to take the insurance, you're going to be making as much as those towns because those benefit packages are included in some of that, which I figured it was.
No, it's not.
It's
All
not
of them-
included?
It is not included. This is salary in addition to.
Well, I thought you just said that there were benefits
That's
included.
what I said. There were benefits in there as well as travel stipend. But the salary is, the benefits are not included in
Okay,
it.
so the
This is
benefits are
extra.
not included.
That's
But you
correct.
just said they were, I thought. But that's okay. Either way, I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm satisfied. I ran to serve the people. I'm here for one purpose, to do the right thing for the people of Bidet. I don't have anything else to say. That's plain and simple for me.
Thank you all for your comments and for your interjections and. that's it, Mr.
So now do we go off to come up with a figure or a number regardless to? You're just gonna leave it alone, Ms. Dingy? Yeah, you already counted, so you're just gonna leave it alone since?
Of course.
Okay,
There are 3 people that said they are not
okay,
in favor of it.
okay,
So there's no need of us going any further with it.
okay.
Unless you,
I'll make a motion, we move from this agenda item.
motion made to move on to the next agenda item, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Smith, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, the next item we have is, board approval to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matter of the Bidet Police Department. Can I hear that motion?
Make a motion.
Motion made to go into executive session, do I hear a second?
Second?
Second by Alderman Probst, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
I would like to, if the public wants to stay during this time, I don't know how long that we'll be in the executive session. You're welcome to stay, but when we come out, all the board will do is vote on that, and then we'll adjourn after that. So it's up to you whether you want to stay. You're welcome to. But anyway, I just want to let some people that don't know what's going on, we're going to be in executive session. I don't know how long that's going to take, so. Okay, thank y'all very much. Let's go. Okay, motion made to exit executive session. Do I hear a second? Second by Alderman Probst, all in favor, whoop. Alderman Best made the motion, Alderman Probst made the second. All in favor, say aye. Alderman Probst made the second.
I make a motion, we accept the chief's recommendation that was discussed.
Second
Make-
his motion.
Go ahead. All right.
Okay, motion made by Alderman Best, who was second?
Robert?
Alderman Gardner was second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I hear a motion we adjourn.
I'll make
I
that
make that
motion.
motion.
Motion made by Alderman Gardner. We'll make Ms. Denby be the second. All in favor say aye.
Robert said he seconded.
It don't matter.